Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive.
Ah.
Um, Today we're looking at something a little different.
Oh, yeah.
We got this movie script, The Substance,
Mm-hmm.
from a listener.
Okay.
And, it's not so much the plot that hooked us,
Mm-hmm.
but all the symbolism they packed into it.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like this visual poem about identity and ambition and aging,
Right.
especially in Hollywood with all that pressure.
Oh, yeah. Hollywood and aging, big topics. It's not just telling a story. It's more like it creates this whole experience for you as you read.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like the way they use visual language is incredible. You could almost say it's like another character in itself.
Oh, for sure.
Like, take that opening shot of Elizabeth Sparkle's star on the Walk of Fame.
All right.
It starts all shiny and new, right? Freshly laid.
Mm-hmm.
But then we see time passing right over it, literally.
Yeah.
Feet trash, even new stars laid on top covering it up.
Wow.
What do you think that tells us about Elizabeth's journey in this story?
I mean, it feels like foreshadowing, doesn't it? Like they're warning us that fame, just like being young, fades away eventually.
Exactly. And that sets us up perfectly for Elizabeth's story.
Okay.
So we meet her kind of at the height of her second act as this fitness guru.
Right.
She's got that successful TV show, Sparkle Your Life.
Mm-hmm.
But even in those scenes where she's all energetic working out,
Ah.
the script gives us these little hints that not everything is as perfect as it seems. Like she's out of breath
Oh,
or wincing when she touches her knee. Little things like that.
interesting.
It makes you feel a vulnerability there. It's a contrast to that image she's trying to project.
Oh, I totally noticed that too. And it's not just that.
What else?
Those posters of her in the studio hallway,
Oh, right.
each one younger and more airbrushed than the last.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like we're seeing her being literally marketed like a product,
Mm-hmm.
which makes those moments where she's physically vulnerable even more striking.
Yeah.
It's like she's fighting against time itself, don't you think?
Yeah, that is such a good observation. It's that tension between the image she's built
Yeah,
and the reality of her aging body.
right.
And then it all comes crashing down with that scene in the men's room.
Oh, yeah.
She overhears Harvey, the network executive, basically trash-talking her age.
It's brutal.
It is. It's a punch in the gut for her and for the reader.
Totally.
He's totally obsessed with youth and renewal, and he reduces her whole career to like a relic of the past.
So dehumanizing.
It is, and you can practically feel Elizabeth's world just crumble around her.
Right. She loses the show, the endorsements, even that little detail.
What's that?
The fly drowning in her untouched wine glass.
Oh, wow.
It feels like it says something about her state of mind at that point.
It's those visual metaphors.
Mhm.
That's what the script does so well. That
Yeah.
fly isn't just a random thing. It
Right.
points to this deeper fear Elizabeth might be facing. The fear of being irrelevant, of being forgotten as she gets older.
It's heavy.
It is. Then, just as everything seems hopeless, she gets introduced to the substance.
Yeah, I gotta admit, the way they present this mysterious potion, it's intriguing,
Oh, yeah.
but also a little unsettling.
For sure. What stood out to you about the whole ritual around it? It really plays on our desire for quick fixes,
Okay.
especially when it comes to aging.
Mm-hmm.
We got these numbered 5 bags, the stabilizer injections,
Uh-huh.
and that weird cryptic message, remember you are one.
Right.
It feels almost cult-like,
Definitely.
which adds to the allure and the danger.
Yeah, it makes it seem like more than just a simple treatment.
Right.
Like a promise or even a threat.
Maybe.
But for Elizabeth, at first, it seems to deliver.
Absolutely. That's where Sue comes in.
Okay.
She's this other self that emerges,
Right.
and she's everything Harvey seemed to want.
Hmm.
Young, ambitious, hungry for success.
Interesting.
Even visually, she's the complete opposite of Elizabeth.
Oh, yeah.
From her clothes to what kind of phone she uses.
I noticed that too.
What do you think about that visual contrast?
How does it reflect their personalities?
Well, Sue's all sharp angles
Yeah.
and bold colors, the latest gadgets.
Yeah.
And Elizabeth seems softer, more muted, almost like she's fading into the background.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's almost like Sue's this 2.0 version of Elizabeth, embracing everything the industry seems to value.
Exactly. And Sue isn't just content with sharing space.
What do you mean?
She starts building that secret room, hoarding the substance,
Wow.
even throwing away Elizabeth's things. It's not just about youth anymore.
So what is it then?
It's starting to feel like she's trying to erase the original Elizabeth.
That is a chilling thought. It makes you wonder about identity.
Yeah.
Is Sue just a younger, more ambitious Elizabeth?
Right.
Or is she something totally separate trying to take over?
Good question.
It seems like the script is blurring the lines on purpose,
Yeah,
making us wonder who's really in control.
that's a great point. We'll have to delve deeper into that in part 2.
Absolutely. See you all next time.
Yeah, it really does make you question, like, what makes us who we are, right?
Yeah.
Is it our experiences, our memories,
Mhm.
our physical form,
Right.
and what happens when those things start to change
Yeah.
or get distorted?
That's what I think makes the script so unsettling.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just about some magic potion, you know.
Mhm.
It taps into these universal anxieties we all have
Right.
about getting older, losing our vitality, our sense of self.
Yeah, for sure.
Even that part where Elizabeth is trying to use that expensive night cream
Okay.
to like cure her arthritic finger.
Interesting.
It's played for laughs, but there's a
Oh.
real sadness under it all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's both hilarious and heartbreaking at the same time.
Yeah.
She's literally trying to like smooth away the effects of time.
Right.
And it speaks to our obsession with all those anti-aging products,
Mm-hmm.
the ones that promise eternal youth.
Yeah. But deep down,
Yeah.
I think we all know that time, just like this substance, takes its toll,
You can't escape it?
right? We can try to fight it,
Yeah.
but ultimately we can't escape the reality of our physical selves. True. It's like Elizabeth is trying to hold on to who she used to be,
Yeah.
while Sue is racing ahead, embracing this new, almost artificial version of herself.
Right. And the more perfect Sue becomes,
Yeah.
the more monstrous Elizabeth seems to get.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's like they're two sides of the same coin, but they're both spiraling out of control.
You'd think Elizabeth, being older and more experienced,
Mm-hmm.
would be seen as the wiser one.
Right.
But in this world, her self-awareness,
Yeah.
her acceptance of getting older,
Mm.
it's almost like a weakness.
Wow.
It's Sue, with her youthful ignorance and ambition, who gets rewarded at first.
It's like the script is flipping the traditional narrative about aging on its head.
I think you're right.
Like, there's that scene where Elizabeth is watching Sue on TV,
Okay.
mimicking her voice, throwing food at the screen.
Oh, yeah.
It's so raw, you really feel her frustration.
You do?
She's being replaced, erased by this manufactured version of herself.
It's heavy. You really feel that sense of powerlessness in that moment.
Dude.
Elizabeth is trapped, you know,
Mhm.
both physically and metaphorically,
Yeah,
in a world that doesn't seem to have a place for her anymore.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
And that brings us to another motif that runs through the script.
What's that?
Food.
Oh, yeah. Food. Interesting.
At first, it seems like a source of strength for Elizabeth,
Okay.
like a way to regain energy after the switch.
Right.
But then it becomes something else,
What do you mean?
something darker. We see piles of dirty dishes, the chicken bones,
Yeah.
that unsettling scene with the chicken drumstick.
I see what you mean.
It's almost repulsive, like a visual representation of her inner turmoil.
I think they use food in a really clever way
Mm-hmm.
to highlight those grotesque aspects of aging and consumption.
Right.
Elizabeth's overeating, it's like a way for her to exert some control,
Okay.
even if it's self-destructive.
Right.
Like she's saying, if I can't control my body, at least I can control what I put into it.
But even that small sense of control is taken away
When...
when Sue steps in and starts policing her diet.
Oh, right.
Sue's obsessed with perfection,
Yeah.
not just for herself, but for Elizabeth, too.
It's like she sees Elizabeth as just another project.
Exactly, to be
Well,
managed and manipulated.
Yeah. And that points to a bigger issue with the beauty industry in general.
What do you mean?
How it pushes this culture of self-denial and control.
Mm-hmm.
Sue's anxieties about image, they extend to Elizabeth too.
Right.
Elizabeth becomes another body to be sculpted and perfected.
And that's when things start to get really creepy.
How so?
She's constantly feeling things on her body.
Like what?
The bulge on her butt,
Mhm.
the chicken drumstick that appears out of nowhere.
Oh, wow.
It's like Elizabeth is pushing back, trying to reclaim her physical space, her identity.
It's like the script is reminding us that you can't suppress the natural order of things forever.
Yeah.
The body, just like time will have its say.
Right.
And those moments of physical distortion,
Yeah.
they're a warning that this perfect Sue is an illusion, this
Yeah.
fragile construct that's starting to crumble.
And that crumbling becomes even more obvious
Okay.
when Sue's supply of the substance starts to run out.
Oh.
That frantic phone call.
Mm-hmm.
The realization that she's at the end of her supply.
It's like the rug has been pulled out from under her.
Exactly. She's built her whole identity, her career
Everything.
on this external substance, and now it's slipping away.
It's a classic cautionary tale, you know?
Yeah.
The promise of youth and success always comes with a hidden price.
Right.
And Sue, in her ambition,
Mm-hmm.
she don't consider the long-term consequences.
So now what?
Now she's trapped in this cycle of dependence, and her own body is becoming the enemy.
It's scary. The final act is a wild ride.
Oh, yeah.
We see Sue's body literally falling apart. Teeth, fingernails in ear.
It's disturbing.
It is.
Yeah,
But there's also this strange sense of inevitability to it.
Yeah, like watching a train wreck in slow motion.
Exactly.
It's a visceral portrayal of the body breaking down.
Yeah.
But it's also this powerful metaphor for Sue's crumbling sense of self.
Right.
The substance that initially promised control and power
Uh-huh.
has actually stripped her of both.
Wow.
She's become this grotesque parody of the image she was trying so hard to project.
And then we have that horrifying but also oddly moving transformation
Into,
into Mushaf Nonstrel Elisa Sue,
wow, what a name.
right? It's like Elizabeth and Sue have finally merged,
Yeah.
but into this monstrous thing that's both repulsive and pathetic.
It's the climax of everything the script has been building towards, the relentless pursuit of youth and success, leading to this grotesque fusion, this total loss of individual identity.
Yeah. And that journey to Elizabeth's star on the Walk of Fame
Oh, yeah.
becomes this twisted pilgrimage,
Uh-huh.
a final act of defiance in a world that's chew them up and spit them out.
I like that. And the fact that this creature actually makes it
Yeah.
crawling to the star amidst a shower of golden confetti.
It's a bizarre kind of victory.
It is. It's like the script is saying, even in our most monstrous forms, we still crave that recognition, that validation from the world.
It's dark.
Yeah,
It's a commentary on our obsession with fame.
absolutely.
The idea that even in decay, we can still be stars.
But as you said, the victory is fleeting.
Right.
That final image of the street cleaning machine wiping away the bloodstain,
Yeah.
it makes you wonder, has anything really changed?
Right.
Is this the end or just the beginning of another cycle?
What are your thoughts on that final image? Yeah, it's like that line from Heraclitus they put at the beginning of the script.
Which one?
Everything flows, nothing remains. You know,
Oh, yeah.
the substance, fame, youth, our bodies,
Mm-hmm.
it's all temporary.
That's deep.
It is, we're constantly changing. I think that's both terrifying and liberating.
It really is. It makes you think about the lengths we go
To do what?
to try and control those natural processes, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
the substance is just a fictional example, but
Yeah.
think about how it reflects our own world.
Okay.
All the diets, the workouts, the filters. We're constantly bombarded with messages about optimizing ourselves,
Great.
fighting against age, achieving some impossible ideal.
And this script doesn't sugarcoat the dark side of all that.
No, it doesn't.
We see the isolation, the self-loathing.
The loss of connection.
It's like both Elizabeth and Sue are victims of this system
Uh-huh.
that pressures them to be something they're not,
Makes you wonder what it really means to take care of yourself.
doesn't it?
Is it about clinging to youth no matter what?
Or is it about accepting the changes?
Embracing the different stages of life?
Yeah. The script doesn't give us an easy answer.
But it definitely raises those tough questions.
It forces us to examine our own values.
For sure.
What are we willing to sacrifice for success, for recognition, for the illusion of youth?
Yeah. It's a question that sticks with you.
It really does. And it's not just about individuals either.
What do you mean?
The script also kind of points a finger at the systems that create these anxieties.
Oh, yeah.
Like Harvey, the network
Oh,
executive.
Har-
He's almost a caricature of the industry's obsession with youth and beauty.
Totally. He's the one who sets this whole thing in motion.
Yeah. Demanding renewal at any cost.
And it's interesting how the script uses humor
To do what?
to highlight how absurd it all is.
Like that part with the shareholders.
Which one?
The ones fixated on feathers on the dancers' butts.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. That was weird.
It's funny, but also disturbing.
Right. It shows how disconnected they are
From what?
from the human cost of their demands.
Yeah, that humor adds a layer of social commentary to it all.
It does.
It makes us laugh, but it also makes us recognize our own role.
In this culture of obsession.
Right, we're all drawn to spectacle, to youth and beauty.
Yeah, but can we step back and see the strings being pulled?
Right. Can we question the systems that profit from our insecurities?
Exactly. I think that's one of the biggest takeaways from this deep dive.
What's that?
The substance isn't just about a magic potion gone wrong.
Right.
It's a mirror reflecting our own anxieties and desires back at us. It makes us question the stories we tell ourselves about aging, about beauty, about success.
I'll leave.
It asks, what truly matters?
Yeah. What kind of world are we creating?
What choices are we making? The substance is fictional. It
Yeah.
represents very real temptations.
Right. Like what?
Those quick fixes, the shortcuts,
Mm-hmm.
the promises of a better, younger, more perfect self.
It's tempting.
It is. So the script leaves us with this thought-provoking question.
Okay.
If you were offered the substance, would you take it?
And if so, at what cost?
Exactly.
That's the question.
Yeah.
There are no easy answers.
No.
But this deep dive has given us a lot to think about.
It has.
It reminds us that true renewal might not come from a bottle or a syringe.
Maybe not.
It might come from a shift in perspective.
Yeah.
From a willingness to embrace the complexities of getting older.
And to find beauty in the unexpected.
Exactly. So thanks for sharing the script with us.
Yeah, it's been a trip.
It has. It's been a fascinating journey into the substance of ourselves.